Some drama was caused recently after Amazon got a load of people, flew them down to London for free and started giving them free gifts, free trips around Oxford for the day, and then gave them an exclusive view of some 20 minutes of footage and interviews with the showrunners before sending them back again. For free. Now the drama came in after people like me dared do such horrific acts as tell people about it, and the backlash was swift. The shame rolled in. How dare you impinge upon my good name, sir? I will always remain unbiased. At one point they started to talk about journalistic ethics, which is a standard I was never going to hold them to. I didn't want to insult them that much by calling them a journalist. Although I would say, even on their own defense, where they talk about people going to see a car, which is a physical product and not a digital one that can just be sent to you. It's also worth noting that this was a night in a hotel and a flight, not a coat, a notebook, a £125 camera, a trip around Oxford like a tourist, treated to various different places, taken to the pub, wined and dined, then given interviews with the showrunners, and only after all of that, then did you go and see the footage. Completely unbiased, I'm sure. But the thing is, as I said, I actually don't have a problem with people doing this kind of... If you want to do it, go ahead. But you should at least inform your audience that that's what you got for free, this is what happened, and so they can make an informed decision. Because the moment you tell them what you've got, like a £125 camera and a trip around Oxford, it doesn't matter at that point how many caveats you put in, your audience know what you've done, and then they can make an informed decision about it. I think that's fair enough. What got me was the weird denials that it absolutely wouldn't have affected my opinion, but at least if you've told your audience what happened, they can make their own minds up when it comes to that. And this was a standard that I expected, but one which absolutely wasn't followed like I assumed in my last video. Because some people did it, and for those people, I thought that was standard. But it appears that it's far from anything. See, what we have here is Mr. Sean Gunner, the chair of the Tolkien Society. This is a guy who likes to go out and make weird, nonsensical false equivalences to try and shame people into shutting up. Where he makes the insinuation that if you like the Peter Jackson movies or Lord of the Rings memes, then obviously you must like the Rings of Power, otherwise you're a hypocrite. Don't you see the contradiction? And I do find it really interesting that he poses the question at the end, while also preventing people from actually answering him. The best bit is how he seemingly realizes that he actually doesn't have an argument, and so just starts calling bingo whenever anyone says that they actually like the Peter Jackson trilogy. As if that's an own. But what I found most interesting was his actual reporting on the event itself, because he says that Amazon invited him to meet the team behind Lord of the Rings on Prime. I fell in love with their vision, and I need to see it on the screen. Check out his thoughts. I thought, hey, he's asked me to. How on earth could I resist? Only people he's mentioned can reply. But in the tweet, there's no mention of the event that he went to or what he got. No, we just invited him, and he saw some footage. Okay. Fair enough, maybe it'll be in the article. But what you get in this article is that he was invited to London to see it, got 20 minutes of footage, and could speak to the showrunners. Not a single mention of any free gifts that he got there, any of the whining or dining that happened, the free trip around Oxford for the day trip, or anything else. No, it's just all about the footage. It's purely professional. So none of the people reading this will know about any of the free gifts he got, or anything that happened on the free trip he had, before he wrote his opinion about this work. Hey, that car review where they declare everything they got's not looking so bad now, is it? I mean, my favourite bit of the article is actually where he says he loved what he heard from them, but wants to love what he sees on the screen, which implies that he doesn't love it. Although I'm sure by the time the footage comes out, he will, eh? And then engages in a bit of setting expectations when he goes, not all Tolkien readers will agree with the creative vision. No, I'm sure they won't. I did like this tweet about the article, though. It says it was an interesting and nuanced review, even though it basically just said the showrunners are amazing. And I can imagine the people there would really love it, because there's other events they could go to, like the One Ring Not Net has recently kind of teased after July 31st, there might be a Lord of the Rings on Prime fan event in New Zealand coming, which will be very interesting. May not get to go to that one if you said that the footage was trash, eh? But of course, no one would do that. No one would give a negative opinion, because those toxic takes on YouTube, oh yeah, they're just the algorithm's fault. No one actually believes it. No, anyone that saw that footage is going to love it. That's just a fact, obviously. Otherwise, they're just doing it for the algorithm. Even if they did recently retweet this kind of own goal, where it's like, Amazon, welcome to the second age. Fans, that's not the second age, neither is that, nor that. Yes, it seems like whatever they try and do, whatever destruction they try and cause, the fans aren't standing for it. Not really sure that one sent the message that you thought it would. Especially when confronted by things, let's not bury the lead. The Rings of Power looks like it should, sounds like it should, and feels like a return to the comfortable universe we all know. I mean, hey, would that be the comfortable universe that you've just been constantly trashing and dragging down, and saying how awful it is, and saying bingo whenever anyone likes it? Is that the same comfortable universe that you want to return to? And if anyone's like, oh no, but that's a different guy, that's not the OneRing.net, you can't compare it to that. It's like, no. But they said it as well. Oh, there were so many bad characterizations in the Peter Jackson trilogy. It was much malign, the decisions he made. But welcome back to the malign decisions, everybody. And hey, is this a return to the comfortable universe we all love? Or is this not the Middle-earth I remember? Because quite frankly, I'm losing track of the narrative at this point. You even got the OneRing.net posting how it's not the Middle-earth I remember as well, so really, I'd like them to just find a narrative and stick to it, rather than jumping all over the show, trying to tell people whatever they think sounds best on this day of the week. It really reeks of authenticity. I think when your marketing strategy involves bringing down the movies so that your low quality bar actually matches there, and you go, yeah, but at least they're both trash, and you love the last pile of trash, I'm not sure that's the best marketing strategy to have personally, but, you know, I'm not you. I did like the live stream they did, though. I thought this was wonderfully named for a bit of clickbait. Rings of Power preview event wins over fans! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. It only took him a free trip around London and some free gifts, but we got there in the end, folks. We got there in the end. I do wonder what it would take to get people to say this Lord of the Rings mobile game is absolutely amazing. It feels like Middle-earth, it's what Tolkien would have wanted. It's about the same quality level as those Peter Jackson trilogies that nobody liked. I do like people that try and rewrite history, but when you rewrite history and tell people that they don't like something that they like, I admire the confidence. But at the end of the day, you can talk about a trip and what people got for free and the opinions that they said afterwards, basically talking about factual reality. But factual reality doesn't mean a lot to some people, and that's how you end up with weird things like this. It's so weird that some people would rather believe that some of the most respected names in the Tolkien community are being bribed by Amazon to say positive things about the Rings of Power show than believe that the show could actually be good. And let's right away just say that's not what anyone's saying. People aren't saying that the show can't be good. It is still technically possible that the show could be good. It's just, I don't think it's very likely, because quite frankly, I've seen what Amazon make, and I've seen what they've done to the Wheel of Time. It says everything that I need to know, especially when they're following the exact same marketing strategy. Generally, good shows don't need to take people out on special trips and give them free things for them to say it's good. That's not a good sign. But as to the, I can't believe people would even believe that these people are being bribed, the most respected names in the community, just in case anyone's forgotten, journalistic ethics and actually declaring what you had. Even the biggest names in journalism also do this. Because quite frankly, everybody knows it's human nature, which is why you tell people. That's why when Twitch streamers do paid content for games, they have to actually say ad in the title and keep telling everyone it's an ad so that people know that their opinion about that game during that hour isn't going to be unbiased because they received compensation for it in some way, and that doesn't have to be monetarily. Although I do like the reply under it, all you gotta do is check their Twitter feed and see what they're sharing. They're almost exclusively sharing right nonsense. They're being kept angry over the things by outlets they think are news, and they need others to be angry as well. Just so you know, I'm not a news outlet. I'm not a good enough liar to be on one of them. And obviously, you should be paying attention to who is sharing positive vibes and what Amazon is giving them prior to those positive vibes. Because most of us aren't chasing clout or upvotes or views. No, we just get free cameras for it instead. And this video is made for views. I'm glad you're watching it. I appreciate you watching it. And I thank you for watching it. Apparently, that's a bad thing. As far as the OneRing.net is concerned. They might not be, but I'm glad you've made it this far in the video. Even if that is apparently the algorithm's fault because, you're not in control of your actions. You can't click off whenever you want. Oh no, no. The algorithm's got you. But it's not all about the physical thing or even the experience that you have which can influence your opinion. There was something else I mentioned in the last video. Meeting the showrunners. How once you've met people, they appear like people to you, they're friendly to you, and nobody wants to insult their friends. And you may not be as harsh as you would have been, because you feel like you know them personally, you don't want to offend. And there are so many comments which back up this kind of idea. On the Prancing Pony podcast, they have 5 tweets describing what happened, and they do say, you may have seen the wide range of responses from people in our community, from positive to skeptical to downright insulting. and we wanted to take a moment to address some of the latter. Yes, these are the people that pointed out how the trip can actually influence their opinion with their facts. They go on to say they have questions, but my favourite one is actually the third one, where they say, after speaking to the showrunners, we are more optimistic about the series than we have ever been. We're excited to talk more about it soon. Specifically, the showrunners. They even point out that they are more excited after talking to the showrunners than they were when they saw the footage. It was the showrunners that influenced them. Having that Q&A is what made them think, yeah, this TV show's going to be good. I'm sorry? You've watched 20 minutes of exclusive footage. That's what's going on the screen. Why is talking to a guy in a QA going to convince you? I think most people understand that actions mean more than words, but for some weird reason in this, it seems to be the other way around how people are treating it. We got to see the finished product, but we're going to ignore that even if we're not quite so sure about that, and we're going to just go off what the showrunners tell us. All I'm saying is perhaps you don't have as much confidence in that production as you're putting forward, because a lot of other people don't. This was the OneRing.net, which said that most TV shows don't get great until season 3. That's why it's important to have faith in the showrunners. You need to have the confidence and skill early on to guide it to where the show needs to be. The fan reactions when meeting JD and Patrick are more encouraging than seeing the footage. They're even saying that the footage wasn't very encouraging. Meeting the showrunners is what it was, and that's because they're not even sure if the TV show will get good until season 3. It's almost like all those comments about people have faith in the showrunners aren't quite so convincing when put into the context of why they're saying that in the first place. Yeah, don't worry guys, don't worry. You've all heard we've got to wait for the premiere and got to actually see the show. Well, some people are going to push that onwards. Oh, we've got to see episode 2, we've got to see episode 3, we've got to find the end of a season 1. All the way up to season 3 before you can even decide if this is going to be any good or not. We're going to constantly move the goalposts forwards while just telling you how amazing the showrunners are, and if you just have faith and keep watching, eventually you might get something good. And if you are interested in the opinions of a lot of the people that went there, then you can find this over on the TolkienGuide.com, which is sentiments from the Lord of the Rings event, which has various different opinions from about the showrunners and the footage. Things like the storyline isn't exclusively Tolkien, time will tell whether this can be transferred to the screen, but all of them go, I'm convinced these are the right people for the job, these are excellent and their passion fill me with confidence. They know their Tolkien, everything. After meeting them, the show feels very good hands. They really love the showrunners in this collector's guide list. These are really personable people, which is a great reason for the interview in the first place. It's far harder to criticize someone's work when you've met them and like them, because they were nice to you. But this is a great little list from the Tolkien's Guide with links to all their Twitters and tweets and stuff so you can all follow them through. And as I think I've proven to you today, if you go through and follow those actual threads or the stuff immediately before and after it, find some really interesting tidbits. Because at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters if you pay attention to who is sharing positive vibes. Because you know what? I encourage you to do that too, especially if they've been going on all expenses paid trips. I really want you to pay attention to who is giving positive vibes. And most of us aren't just chasing clout or upvotes or views. Oh, the horror of making YouTube videos for views. I don't really care if someone has a low opinion of my work, or if they think that anyone watching this far in the video, it's simply the algorithm's fault and they have no autonomy of their own. Because all this video was a demonstration of what they said. A culmination of the fallout of that event after people started pointing out exactly what had happened. Because while some people want you to focus on who is sharing positive vibes, I'm simply here trying to tell you the truth. And when it comes to the truth, I think you can get a far more accurate picture of who's telling it and who's trying to frame a narrative by simply looking at who's allowing you to speak and who's there deleting comments, shutting down conversation. Like, I don't know, on the Prime trailer itself. Because I don't know, it's almost like they're scared of what you'd have to say. Well, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe, more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.